navigation camera, and autonomous guiding control. Then we begin the vertical descent.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. We're joining JAXA live currently. They're about to land on the moon, hopefully. So
will put the probe up there. So this curve itself is very much suitable for pinpoint landing.
So the rover is called SLIM, or Smart Lander for Investigating Moon.
So this looks like a very difficult design, but what kind of things did you do to make it possible? Because SLIM looks like very much challenging, including many new techniques. So could you please tell us about the highlights? So that's right, that there are many techniques that they are pushing, and also they are really new and innovative. So what the team tried to do the most is try to have more and more experiments. And by getting successes, they are very confident to place those techniques put together in this probe SLIM. The rocket launched on the 7th of September, and around 4 months later that we are here today. And other missions, such as Russians and Indians, they took less time. So why did SLIM take 4 months? Could you please explain to us about it? So this is something that we saw on the slide. So the swing by, we could probably just do one swing by to get into the moon's orbit. But by doing so, we need to put so much fuel on the probe. But we want to have less in a tank. So we decided to do the longer swing by and then have this slim orbit. So we chose this to have more efficient, and this has become one of the main goal of the SLIM project.
So it's somewhat counterintuitive that this very long swing by orbit turns out to be much more efficient on fuel. But even though it takes longer and it goes further, it is able to use the gravity of this Sun, Earth, Moon system to actually alter the position and attitude of the spacecraft to put it back onto a trajectory towards the moon. And this is actually much cheaper on fuel as opposed to braking when you reach the moon the first time to enter lunar orbit straight away.
That's right. So what do you think that will be successful? And it has been like many challenges and also failures, as we all know. But we would like to
Sorry about that. Is
believe
that better?
this will work today. And we have many experiments and then many discussions. So today we believe that things will work. And sorry for asking the difficult questions. But as Mori-san explained, that many experiments proved that this technique should work. So, okay, next question, or maybe comments from the audience.
As an aside, if you look at the moon that's in front of it's just gone off camera. But to the left of that is one of the actual landing legs from SLIM. So you can examine its mesh crushable structure when it comes back on camera.
So can anyone observe it through the observatories or the telescope? And Mori-san's answer is that it's probably very difficult.
We can't see SLIM.
See that? Yeah. So could you also tell us about this plan of landing on the slope? So could you please explain to me a little bit more?
So from this angle, you can see the 5 legs on the SLIM spacecraft, the rear leg that sticks out the furthest, and then a more square structure for the forward landing gear and middle landing gear. So SLIM initially descends vertically, and it's going to land on that rearmost leg first. That's the first one that's going to touch the lunar surface. So it lands on the back leg and then it tips forward onto those front 2 legs.
2 steps.
ちなみにですね、ちょっと気になるものが横にあるんですけれども、これが着陸
And let us see this model. What is it?
衝撃を吸収するものとなっていま
I'm
して、
glad they came
こ
back
れ
to
が実
this.
際に足についているわけです。
そうですね。この
Yeah, it's one of these little legs. So while a big lunar lander, such as Apollo, actually has legs with a joint that are able to absorb the impact, SLIM has these very compact lattice-like legs that will compress on impact and absorb that force as it comes down on the lunar surface.
はい、ここまで質問とコメントの紹介をさせていただきました。さてですね、着陸に向けた
So this is the end of the Q&A and comment
となりました。ここで改めて森先生、森さんにスリムのポイントとそれから着陸
So there are only 5 minutes to go. So Mori-san will review what will be happening in the next in the next few minutes.
So this is our pinpoint landing again, the powered descent from 15 kilometers, the vertical descent from 7 kilometers, the search for possible hazards, such as boulders.
So overall, when it starts, it will take about 20 minutes.
20 minutes of terror.
So first it approaches to the targeted position and then the vertical descent. And it will have 3 hoverings. And it will try to detect any boulders. And then it approaches to the slope and have 2-step descent and landing.
短時間で確認できますが、このピンポイント着陸の成否は着陸後1ヶ月以内を見込んでいると。
So it will be determined relatively soon about the landing itself, but the pinpoint or not, so how precise it was, it will take about a month to process.
テレメトリーというのは、その探査機からスリムから送られてくるさまざまなデータのことを表す言葉です。
So now let us explain about the telemetry. So we will be moving forward to the screen like this, and the telemetry is the data that has been sent from the probe.
見てすぐわかるもの。
So this is the QL quick look screen, and we'll see this during the descent to the lunar surface, and it will display the telemetry, the data coming from the spacecraft. And we're going to go through just each of what you're seeing here to explain what it means. So this is the date and the time, in the top yellow. It's a spacecraft time, but that corresponds almost exactly with Earth time, as it only takes about a second for radio waves to travel between the moon and the Earth. It's showing the time in UTC, Universal Time, which is Japan time at -9 hours. Now this part is the GNC, Guidance Navigation Control mode, and you can see the different options for the modes, with SPM being sun pointing mode, OCM being orbital control mode, etc. And it tells you what phase we're in at the moment. This is going to show us the spacecraft acceleration. It's the actual measured value of the accelerometer is on the left. The estimated value based on the model is on the right, and descending order for the acceleration goes from green through to red. This shows the status of the auxiliary thrusters. The scale here goes from 0 to 100%. And this is the status of the main engine injection, with a scale again going from 0 through to 100%. This shows the angular velocity of the spacecraft along the 3 axes, X, Y, and Z. The colors here indicate descending orders of control error, with green having minimal control error. Gosh, we're going fast. This is the remaining propellant. The fuel is on the left, the oxidizer is in the middle, the total is on the right. The fuel to oxidizer ratio is 1 to 0.8. The BAT SOC is the remaining battery capacity, and now we are looking at, if this graph looks like this, it's the mode before powered descent. So altitude from the sun is seen on the left, the attitude from the Earth is on the right. This is now what it looks like when we go into the powered descent mode, showing positional information such as the trajectory, white line, and the actual trajectory. Is that right in the red line? Oh, this is the vertical descent mode. My apologies. The last one was the powered descent mode. This is vertical descent mode. And so that takes us into an era of landing where we can to landing where we want.
So on the screen, you will see the same telemetry as the mission control room will be seeing. So we are now switching the screen to the telemetry.
はい、ここからは、堀さんと私で、テレメトリの画面を見ながら進めてまいりたいと思います。はい、今 PDM と左上の
So during this phase, as we head towards the lunar surface, we are not going to say a great deal. Please watch the telemetry. And so you can see for yourself how the spacecraft is progressing, and there will be minimal commentary during this time.
進行中です。
で、メインエンジンが今 100% になってますね。これもブーストをしている状態ですね。完全に噴射していて、今ブレーキをかけている状態と言っていいかと思います。
Main engine is 100%. That means that it put the brakes. And now the altitude is 15 kilometers and slightly up.
白い軌道、右側のグラフのところで白いラインが目標となる軌道になっていて、
So on the right, you see the graph, and the white is expected orbit. And the red one is how SLIM is going.
それなりに合っていれば、大体目標通りの軌道で飛んでいるということがわかるかと思います。
So now SLIM is going more or less on a planned trajectory.
先ほど、動力降下シーケンスが開始されています。午前0時頃から、動力降下シーケンスが開始されておりまして、
And it started descent.
ブーストが行われております。
これしばらくブーストが続いて、そのうちしばらく時間が経つと1回休憩になります。コースティングモード、コースティングに入ります。
はい、コースティングというのは完成工法。
そうですね。特にエンジンを吹かずに、補助エンジンは
So now the engines are on, but soon it will be turned off just for a while. And then it will fly a little bit without
表
thrashing.
示している画面、右下には第二管制室の様子を示しています。
And on the right-hand corner, you see the second control
画
room.
面を見守っておりまして、こちらも画面に表示されているのは、今、YouTube の画面に表示されている、テレメトリ表示画面と同じようなものを
And in the second control room as well, that they are seeing the same exact telemetry as we see here on the screen.
出されています。
真ん中の画面がそうですね、実際、今、先ほどの画面と同じ画面になってますね。今、メインエンジンは2個100%噴射してますが、補助スラスターは12個ありますが、噴射しているものと噴射してないものがあって、これは軌道とか姿勢を補正したりするのに使われてますので、噴射の仕方はいろいろ変わってくるといったものになります。
はい、現在、第1回目のブーストを実施中です。高度はそうですね、20キロを上回ってきたあたりになるかと思います。
The altitude is now 20 kilometers, and this is the phase of the first boost.
燃料と
And it
酸化
will
剤が
keep going for a
少
while.
しずつ減ってっていうのが見てわかると思います。これはメインエンジンがずっと噴射しているので、どんどん水薬が使われているっていうことを意味しています。
はい、画面の右上ですね、青色が
そうですね、FU って書いてあるのが燃料、で OX って書いてあるのが酸化剤ですね。
Fuel, and you can see it on the right top corners, and it will have to decrease.
はい、
as it
テレメトリ表示
goes.
画面では、現在第1回の燃焼を実施中です。
で左下の、加速度計の表示が、あります。A って書いてあるのが加速度計で、B がモデルで計算した数字なんです。大体一致していて、緑なので十分加速度が出ているってことを表しています。
The velocity is just about right. So you can see it on the left bottom. And now you can see both A and B are green. And it has been as it has been planned. So things are going okay on that side as well.
Good question. If it's crinkled, there's more surface area,
はい、間も
so
な
it can
く
dissipate
高度
heat better.
25キロの
If it was tight, the surface area and the tension of the surface would
The
far
altitude
less
is
area.
now reaching 25 kilometers. And it will now go into coasting mode.
Yeah, this is JAXA. This is the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency.
で、位置を、今まで蓄積した誤差を
But yeah, that was a good question. Amazing.
位置がバチンと決まりますので、これで完成候補でやってた位置のズレをこれでリセットするといった操作が行われます。
はい、現在スリムは、画像照合工法を実施中と思われます。
So now it started to scan on the moon's surface. So it's looking for the exact place to land.
はい、高度は25キロ上回ったあたりです。
So they actually lose comms, so it has
Altitude
to be
is just
autonomous.
about 25 kilometers.
はい、今、メインエンジン着火しましたね。100% になりました。これで第2
It's a foil,
これ
um,
でしばらく
and yeah,
噴
it's
射状態が続くかと思います。
it does very well thermally.
0時6分ぐらいです。
I don't know that it's all
現在
gold.
スリムは第2回のブーストを開始
It's
してい
it's
ます。
an alloy.
So Slim is going into the second phase of boost. So now you can see the engine firing.
緑色に表示されているかと思いますが、これ緑色になっているってことは、姿勢がもう姿勢の制御が想定通りになっていると、姿勢誤差が小さいということを表しています。
Yeah, so a good portion of it is aluminum and a lot of plastic.
赤のラインも白のラインと大体一致しているので、
There's
基準軌道に沿って
there are multiple thin
進んでいるという
metal sheets that are sandwiched together, but most of them are aluminum.
Now you can see the planned trajectory, and the red trajectory is going on the model. So this is going very close to the planned trajectory.
はい、少しずつ高度が下がってきています。
そうですね。だいぶブレーキが効いてきましたね。最初軌道が先ほどお話しした理由で上がってたんですが、はい、もう落ちてきましたね。
Well, most of it's insulation. Space is very cold.
It start to descend a little bit, as you can see on the right side.
スリムは第2回のブースト実施中で
It's
す。
still doing the
第2回
second
の
boost.
ブーストを実施中です。
So this is what the actual foil kind of looks like. Not to take much from the landing, but it's layers of different impregnated metals and plastics.
燃料酸化剤もだいぶ減ってきましたね。100キロもう割り込んできました。これ、着陸しても全部途中でなくなるっていうわけではなくて、少し残るような、10キロ以上は残るような計算になって。
Scheduled to touch down in about 10
Fuel
minutes.
also decreasing, as you can see on the right top corner.
スリムは
And now you can see 96.6 kilograms of fuel, and it will be about 10 kilograms or even a little bit slightly more. So that's where we are aiming at.
速度が実は結構高くなってきてるんです
So
ね。
it will not be completely empty.
緑のバーが今出てますが、最初2ぐらいだったのは今少し高くなってきてると思いますが、これ同じ水力は同じなんで、探査機の質量が小さくなったので加速度が増えているっていうふうに見ていいかと思います。
Velocity is increasing. That's on the left-hand side. And because the mass is decreasing, that means velocity is getting a little bit more in number.
現在第2回のブーストを実施中です。動力効果シーケンスにおいて第2回のブーストを実施中です。
もうしばらく続きそうですね。これ、はい。
It will continue a little bit. We are
Awesome.
still on the second boost
ブースト状態
stage.
So basically what they're doing is they're stopping their orbital momentum and just allowing gravity to pull it in and counteracting gravity with thrust is basically what's going on right now. Easier to do without the atmosphere and that kind of thing. So, and obviously 1/6 gravity.
スリムは現在第2回のブーストを実施中です。スリムは第2回のブーストを実施中です。高度がかなり下がってきましたね。
そうですね。もうちょっといくと思いますね。このまま。はい。はい。15キロ下回るぐらいまではこのまま 100% のブーストでいくと思います。で、12個の
Now is still the second boost stage, and it's now above 15 kilometer, and it will continue a little bit longer.
はい。スリムは高度20キロほどに到達しています。現在、第2回のブーストを実施中ですが、高度が20キロほどまで降りてきました。
So as you can see, they're kind of still on an elliptical trajectory. It's still a little bit off-centered. It will go straight up and down here in just a moment.
燃料酸化剤がだいぶ減ってきましたね。
I'm pretty confident that this one will land. The question is it going to hit its target?
第2回のブーストを実施中です。スリムは第2回のブーストを実施中です。
because its target is a very small area, very
Still
small.
the second boost.
It was designed to be pinpoint accurate for exploration of small investigatory areas on the moon.
また画像照合工法ですねを実施するために1回停止ということでコースティングになるという見込みです。
So when it goes below altitude 15 kilometer, it will start the coasting again and then try to do the image scanning.
今メインエンジン 0% になりましたので、これで第2回のブーストが終了してコースティングに入りました。
Now you can see the engine has stopped like 0%. So now it starts cruising and trying to see the surface. So image scanning right now as it plans.
Oh, they're flipping it.
And
So they
soon
flipped it,
we'll
and then they're going to
probably
flip it
see the
back.
third phase of boost.
スリムは現在画像照合方法を行って
Seems
いると
unnecessary,
思われ
but
ます
go for it.
今は10キロを下回ってまいりました。
そうですね。メインエンジンまた噴射し
Bullseye
ま
and
して
parachute landing? No, it's going to be propulsive landing on the moon.
ブーストが
So
始まりました。
Now you see the engine is on now, 100%, and now the third stage of boost has just started. And the third one will not be 100% all the time. It's called the pulse thruster. So it's been expected that it's not going to be always 100% on.
でこれをしばらくまた続けまして、コードが適切な
I don't think there's much. There's some
切り替わります。今
there's some scanning.
左
The
上と書いてある
most of this is putting the craft down.
VDM という
That's most of the
コースに
mission.
切り替わると思います。
Now please pay attention to the left top, it's PDM. It will soon change
第3回のブーストを行っているところです。スリムは第3回のブーストを行っているところです。
into VDM. So PDM will change into VDM.
高度がだいぶ下がってまいりました。10キロ下回って間もなく5キロに。
Yeah, it says there's nothing on it. It's just specifically for the pinpoint landing on the moon's surface.
もこれで垂直降下モードに変わると、この今のグラフも切り替わります。
For future scientific investigation.
Now
Solar system.
approaching altitude 5 kilometer.
はい、スリムは現在第3回のブーストを実施中です。スリムは第3回の
So kind of the landing is the mission for to expound upon it on future missions.
そうですね。今 VDM という文字が左側に、緑の文字に変わったと思いますが。
Now it's been changed
最後垂直降下モードに
VDM.
今入っているところです。
Now
が
starting the
グラフも
vertical
先ほどのグラフと
descent.
変わって2つの探査機が乗っている。これ、X 方向から見たのと Y 方向から見たなんですか、図になっています。で、X 方向というのは、西方向。で、Y 方向、プラス Y が南の方向。で
So
Z が
X
まあ
axis
方向を表しています
is the west and the Y
はい、
is
現
south.
在、
Now
16分30秒あたりですが、すでにスリムは垂直降下モードに入っています。
it started vertical
現在スリム
descent.
は垂直降下モードを実施中です。
Yeah, the problems with that are one, it's really far away,
で
230,000 miles, and two, it's
今数字が 100%、
the atmosphere really plays tricks on lenses to nearer objects. We have a really thick atmosphere on this planet, so
していると言ってみていいかと思います。でこれで500メーターぐらいのところまでこのまま降りていきます。で、500メーターのところで1回目のホバリングに入ります。
It will descend around 500 meter
スリムは
and it
現
will
在
start the
垂直
first
降下モードにて
hovering.
高度を下げております。スリムは垂直降下モードにて高度を下げております。 1000メートルを割り込みました。
そうですね。そろそろこれで500メートルなんで、ここで1回目のホバリングに入ると思います。しばらく高さを維持する状態になるかと思います。
Around 500 meter, it will start doing the first hovering.
高さが今一定になっているかと思います。はい、これホバリング状態。これそんなに長く続かないです。またすぐに降りていきます。
It will be a short time, but this is the first
スリ
hovering.
ムは第1回のホバリングを行って終えたと思われます。
再びそうですね、下がり始めましたね。高度が下がり始めました。
It starts to descend again, and next aim is 50
50
meters.
メートルのところでは、先ほど少し紹介しました、障害物検知を行います。それで安全な場所を見つけて水平移動して、それも自立で安全な場所に移動すると、水平移動するといったことを行います。これも比較的短い時間で行う予定です。
So at the next point, it will scan again to see if there are any obstacles or boulders.
はい、高度が100メートルを下回りました。まもなく50メートルに到達しようというところです。
そうかな。はい、ここで一旦、はい、ホバリングに入った、2回目のホバリングに
This
入っ
is
た
the
と思います。
second hovering.
でこれで安全な場所に水平移動を行って、その後またしばらく降下するという状態になると
Now
思います
it's looking
はい
for the
スリムは
safe
第2回
place
の
to
ホバリ
land.
ングを行っていると思われます。スリムは第2回のホバリングを行っていると思われます。障害物回避に
今降りましたね。はい、これで高度2メーターぐらいのところで第3回のホバリングを実施し、これでレブですね、超小型ローバーを放出します。でその後、一気に降りて2段階着陸をするという形になるかと思います。
I don't like their
Around the 2
their
meters,
graphic.
it will release the lev and it will land. Two-step landing is expected.
モードが今 MLM というモードに切り替わりましたので、これで着陸したという状態になります。MLM
Now you see on the left-hand side, MLM, that means it has landed. From the telemetry, it shows the sign
この画面上だとなかなか
MLM.
判断が難しいところですけど、姿勢も少し傾いているように見えます。で、MLM というモードで、傾いて倒れていると、着陸したといったような状況に見えます。
はい、テレメトリーの表示画面の上では、スリムは月表面に、到達したかと
Is it
思われ
sliding
ま
then?
す。
Why is
高度は
the
月表面に到達したかと思われます。
From the telemetry, what we see is the SLIM has landed on the slope.
right on time? Exactly on time.
はい、テレメトリの画面上では、スリムは、月の表面に到達したかと思われます。テレメトリの画面の上では、スリムは、月の表面に到達したかと思われます。はい、繰り返しお知らせします。スリムは、テレメトリの表示画面の上では月の表面に、到達したかと思われます。スリムは、月の表面に到達したかと思われます。
It looks like on the telemetry that SLIM is on the surface of the moon.
一連の動きはだいたい想定の通りの挙動を示していたように思います。
はい、現在スリムの状況を確認しています。スリムの状況を現在確認中です。
So these are the photos that Slim released before of its potential landing site. So
と思われますが、現在、状況を確認しております。スリムは、画面の上では、月の表面に到達したと思われますが、現在状況を確認しております。
From the screen, the SLIM is on the moon. We are checking the status right now.
はい、画面の上では、スリムは月の表面に到達したと思われますが、現在スリムの状況を確認しています。画面の上ではスリムは月の表面に到達したと、思われますが、現在スリムの状況を確認しています。
We are now checking the status of the SLIM. It looks like it has reached on the moon from the screen that we see, but we are checking the status.
はい、画面の上では、スリムは月の表面に到達したと思われますが、現在スリムの状況を確認しています。画面の上ではスリムは月の表面に到達したと思われますが、現在スリムの状況を確認しております。
We are still checking the status.
I assume just waiting for confirmation.
はい、画面の上では、スリムは月の表面に到達したと思われますが、現在スリムの状況を確認中です。現在、スリムの状況の確認中です。
We are still checking the status.
はい、現在スリムの状況を確認中です。現在スリムの状況を確認中です。はい、現在スリムの状況を確認中です。現在スリムの状況を確認中です。
So while we're waiting for confirmation, on this, we'll confirm a previous lunar mission, and that's the Peregrine Moonlander that we watched right here on January 8th that flew on the first Vulcan Centaur from United Launch Alliance. As of yesterday, it has
はい、
burned
現
up
在スリムの状況を確認して
in
おります
the
の
Earth's
で、もうしばらくお待
atmosphere
ちください。現
um,
在スリムの状況を
east
確
of the
認しており
coast
ます
of
ので、もうしば
Australia.
らくお待ちください。
We are still checking the status, so please wait. We are still checking the status, so please wait.
So that was the
はい、現在スリムの状況を確認しておりますので、もうしばらくお待ちください。
that was the one that went up on the Vulcan Centaur. It had the ashes of the individuals on the that were previously on Star Trek. It also had a moonlander for the United States, and that's the one that had terminal issues basically right off the pad. It has crashed back into Earth. So
スリムの状況確認のため、0時30分で番組を中断いたします。なお、後ほど、ただいまご覧いただいております YouTube ライブにて、記者会見を中継いたしますので、開始までしばらくお待ちください。繰り返しお伝えします。スリムの状況確認のため、0時30分で番組を中断いたします。スリムの状況確認のため、0時30分で番組を中断いたします。なお、後ほど、ただいまご覧いただいております YouTube ライブにて、 記者会見を中継いたしますので、開始までしばらくお待ちください。
So we are still checking the status. So we closed this session at 12:30, and later on the same link and the same website, that press conference will start. So please come back to the press conference. We are still checking the status.
スリムの状況確認のため、0時30分で番組を中断いたします。
I didn't catch what they
な
just
お、
said.
後ほど、ただいまご覧いただいております YouTube ライブにて、記者会見を中継いたしますので、開始までしば
Coming
ら
back
くお待ち
when
く
for
だ
a
さい。
press conference?
We are ending this program at 12:30, but we are still checking the status. Later on this channel, we will have the press conference. So please wait. We are still checking the status, and the press conference will start shortly. Thank you.
はい、スリムの状況確認のため、0時30分で番組を中断いたします。スリムの状況
So I wonder if we're going to stay with
0
them
時30
or
分
it's
で
going to
番
go
組を
someplace
中断いた
else.
します
We'll stay with
なお、
them just
後
for
ほ
a
ど
little bit
ただいま
and
ご覧いただいております
see if we
YouTube
get that
ライ
press
ブにて
conference.
記者会見を中継いたしますので、開始までしばらくお待ちください。はい、スリムの状況確認のため、0時30分で番組を中断いたします。
So we will end this program at 12:30.
番組を中断いた
The
します。
press conference will
な
be
お、
held
後ほどただいまご覧いただいて
will
おり
be
ます
held
YouTube ライブにて
on the
記者会
same
見を中継
link.
いたしますので、開始までしばらくお
So
待ちくだ
please
さい。
wait until the
後
press
ほどただ
conference
いまご覧
begins.
いただいております
We will be
YouTube ライブに
ending
て
this
記者会見を
program
中継いた
at
しますので、
12:30.
開始までし
Thank
ばら
you.
くお待ちください。
Okay, so that's right now. I'm going to watch in the background and see um, what they have going on. It does not sound like it was it does not sound like it was a nominal attempt, just with their reaction and looking into other sources. It does not look like it landed successfully. I don't know that for sure. I'm just adding some of my own speculation that it's there was something there that was not correct. So let's see. JAXA hasn't released an official statement to this point. But again, my original judgment, looking at telemetry and looking at sources and that kind of thing, I don't think it was a successful mission. So demonstrate. I'm trying to get anything just like everybody else is. I'm sure. But if I had to be put on the spot right now, I would say that it was not successful. Let me see. It looks like they have a loss of signal, and they are thinking that the crash has, or the craft has crashed. That's the word I'm getting out of JAXA, just a prelim. It's called the Moon Sniper. That's what this specific mission was called. So then you have places like CNBC that are completely contradictory to JAXA. Japan becomes the 5th country to land on the moon with JAXA SLIM spacecraft. Russia, US, China, and India. And this was posted 7 minutes ago. So take that for what it's worth. But again, everything out of JAXA is that they lost comms, which is never good. Never good. And just based on their response and reaction and the telemetry data that I was seeing, I do not believe that it was a successful mission, but we'll find that out probably pretty quick here. So I would hope. Let's see if we get any updates. News had it preloaded press releases. I'm sure it is. I'm absolutely sure it is. Sometimes you should maybe just wait a second, you know? And of course, JAXA is in Japanese, so I'm gonna have to translate these tweets. Or call Max Mura. Oh, that's just their streaming. And that one's from an hour. So safe to say we still don't have any information. Here's one from 3 minutes ago. Let's see if that has anything. Oh, that's just saying they suspended their live stream. So it looks like we're just on hold for a minute here. Well, I guess we'll read this while we're hanging out. This is the official article of Korean moonlander crash. Reentry expected about 4 p.m. yesterday. The private Pugaran lander's long journey is about to come to an end back to its home planet. Pugaran will likely slam into Earth's atmosphere over the southern Pacific Ocean about 4 p.m. Eastern, according to its builder, the Pittsburgh-based company Astrobiotic. Astrobiotic has positioned the Pugaran spacecraft for a safe, controlled reentry over Earth over a remote area of the South Pacific. The team has been continuously monitoring our reentry analysis with NASA. Astrobiotic added, noting that such work has revealed no anticipated hazards. Pigarine launched January 8th on the first ever mission of Vulcan Centaur, the United Launch Alliance's powerful new rocket. The lander is toting 20 payloads from various customers, including NASA, which 5 scientific experiments on board its commercial Lunar Payload Services program. The lander is also carrying human remains in the form of memorial payloads manifested by companies Celestis and Elysium Space. Pigarine aimed to deliver the gear to the surface of the moon next month, but that plan was scuttled by a fuel tank leak that cropped up shortly after liftoff. The lander's handlers traced the problem to a ruptured oxidizer tank, which may have been caused by a stuck valve. Despite the propulsion anomaly, Pigarine remains operational. The lander made it out to the lunar distance recently, then looping back on a collision course with Earth. Astrobotic, working with NASA, developed a plan to make the coming impact as safe as possible. So this is kind of where they want to ideally land it. This is the east coast of Australia, so that is that. It did fail. I guess we can go back to this one. Basically, well, they're gonna burn up in the atmosphere, so there won't be space junk. They're gonna deorbit it, so it will burn up in the atmosphere. Yeah, CNBC still has it breaking news. And the longer we have time here, the more I'm thinking that it probably wasn't accurate. Ba, ba, ba. So there's also no information on when the press conference will take place. We're really not getting any information, which the further we get into this, the more all right, here is sorry, I'm just reading. Just give me one moment. So JAXA's last update said the spacecraft is on the moon, but they're checking its status. More details will be given shortly, which is what we heard from the individual. And then we have, I believe this is the Guardian So this is a post from The Guardian, and it kind of mirrors what I say. No final confirmation on the success of the landing, say officials. Just as everyone on the edge of their seats, officials say the Japanese Space Agency live stream is closing down. A press conference will be held, they add, without giving details. Technicians are still, quote, checking the status of the lander. And then it says, we can't be sure, but this does not sound very promising. I tend to agree with that statement. So, it seems that it's certainly on the moon. I think we can confirm that much of it. Just if it's on the moon successfully or on the moon in error. I mean, the moon is hard work. It's not an easy task to land something on a foreign body. Not at all. So if they were unsuccessful, give it another shot and try again, Japan. But good work, and hopefully you got some good data. And again, that's looking more and more evident by the time that we're going here. So this is what the mission profile was supposed to look like. So we'll take a look at this. We'll go back to the launch, take a look at that, just so we can. So we'll start with the launch, and here's the launch from the Mitsubishi Heavy Industries rocket that took it from Japan to the moon.
The flight mode is on. The thermal batteries have been activated. All systems are go. Main engine start. The main engine ignition. Solid boosters ignited. Liftoff. プリズムスリムを搭載した H2A ロケット47号機は2023年9月7日午前8時42分11秒に種子島宇宙センターから打ち上げられました。We have a liftoff of the H2A launch vehicle number 47 from JAXA Tanegashima Space Center at 8:42 and 11 seconds a.m.
And then this is what the mission profile was supposed to look like. Yeah. Back in the 60s. It's starting to become evident why we haven't gone back. It's far tougher than people ever gave it credit for. And that could explain why we haven't gone back, because the Russians have failed. I believe one of the Chinese landers failed. India's landed, but things happen there. The United States' most recent mission has failed. It's a tough go. It's not easy. So, but yeah. So we'll see what the mission profile should have looked like. So here's my official. So it landed on the side of a crater. We know that. It was I think it was about a 15-degree slope, maybe a little bit less than that. I want to say it was 15, but I don't remember. Which is quite a slope. So this is what I think happened. I think they touched down, and the touchdown was successful. and then I think they slid down the crater, and that's why we still saw acceleration in this axis. So that is my no, they haven't even announced that it crashed. This is complete speculation on my part. Complete speculation on my part. I'm just because we got good data that it did touch down. I just think that it slid. I think that's the most likely scenario, is that it slid. Just based on the data and what I was looking at. So we'll watch it one more time. Because not only do you not have the gravity to pull it down as fast, you don't have the gravity to hold it in place. So if it starts sliding, it's going to start sliding at a pretty alarming rate. So that was kind of the profile. And I think that maybe when they put it down like that, that impact was a little too hard and it started sliding. That's where I would see an error. However, we still have not gotten any official confirmation from anything, except for the fact that it touched down on surface. So beyond that, it is all my speculation, 100%. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still not getting any kind of confirmation. I think it's going to be later. I think they're going to pour over data. And I personally think it's going to be some time before we get any indication of anything. Trying to see real quick if there's anything new on JAXA. Yeah, it's still checking the status. Is their last update. Let's see. So I am going to deduce that they're going to go through data before they're ever going to release anything. Okay, so they're talking back on the live stream, but I don't know what it means. No, not necessarily. There's telemetry because of interruptions all the time. So for example, the Axiom 3 mission, there was an 11-minute loss of signal, and that's perfectly normal. Space is big. There's a lot of space. So just because you lose signal doesn't mean that there could be some kind of other anomaly. It's actually quite common to lose signal in space travel. Quite often. There is nothing at all, nothing at all from JAXA. They are completely silent on this. So
はい、先ほどの局の話ですけど、今確認中で、後で記者会見の中でご報告するか、質問に答える形かということで、共有させていただくということになりましたので、お待ちください。
all right, I'm going to check one more thing, and then I'm probably going to cut the stream for now. Yeah, nothing there. So if the press conference does come back on, I will come back on the channel, but every indication I see is it's going to be some time before that happens. So, no, loss of signal happens all the time. It's built into missions. Like, it's pretty common. It's really a common phenomena. But so that's going to be it for me. If it's your first time at the channel or you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please hit that like button on your way out. And when the press conference goes live, I will pop back on. Until then, hope everybody has an awesome day, and I'll catch you again soon.